Oh, what is fucking good, YouTube, the internet? Anyone who's seeing this, I don't even know why I said that, but Worlds is starting today. It's play day one. I just woke up. I could have woke up earlier, but I was definitely sleepy. I was sleepy as heck. And I was not trying to, you know what I'm saying? Oh my god. You can tell I just woke up. Look at my hair. Bro, look at my hair. I'm not supposed to look like this. I look way better than this, I promise. I promise. Ooh. What's good with y'all? Get it up. I'm sleepy. But anyway, the world just started. The play-ins day one. So I'm about to go ahead and knock this out. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, share, comment something, you know what I'm saying?
And welcome everyone.
Let me know your thoughts.
2024 live from the Riot Games Arena.
Oh my god, it's happening.
In Germany.
It's happening, it's Germany.
Back Worlds in Europe this year and kick things off here at home for the first stage. 8 teams will be fighting for 4 spots at the main event, and it is my pleasure to open the best month of the esports LoL season with Ezel and GB, guys. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you here.
It's my first time being in the new studio.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's looking pretty sick. And I'm so ridiculously excited for Worlds to finally be kicking off. It feels like it's been forever since the regular seasons have ended, and we finally have League back.
2 weeks without esports and without League was way too much. GB.
I mean, absolutely. I kind of like the new colors as well. We got some blue, we got some of the white, we got some of the black with the silver. It's looking slick.
Yeah, here a bit because we're gonna be here for 2 weeks and the first 2 weeks of Worlds. But before we get into all the details, all the action ahead of us, let's take a refresher on the World format for 2024.
Okay.
Is back and we've adjusted the format. Here's a quick overview of what you need to know. There will be a total of 20 teams from around the globe facing off in 3 stages. Play-ins will be made of 8 teams across 2 best-of-3 double elimination brackets, with the top
Hold on, I'm trying to understand this.
4 teams moving on to the Swiss stage. The 4 teams from play-ins will join the rest of the 12 teams for the Swiss stage and be drawn into 8 best-of-1 matches based on their seeding. Teams will then be drawn.
I like the Swiss stage. The Swiss stage is so cool, bro. The Swiss teams. They're really Swiss teams. I'm itching. I'm itching to blow this shit. Really Swiss cheese, your ass. That shit is too funny, bro.
YouTube channel and watch all the action from September 20th to November 2nd on lolesports.com.
I think the Swiss format was so good last year, but they've made it even better this year. One of the key changes that they are putting in is that you can't have the rematches against the same team, so no more getting knocked out by just losing the same team over and over.
Yeah, and you know who would have really appreciated that as well? Katie would have loved that if they were here, lol, wouldn't they?
Okay, I'm happy you got this out of the way. Are we done? Can we actually talk about the teams that we're gonna have at Worlds? Because I agree with you here, Ezel, in the sense that you want to have a format that's gonna do justice for the teams and the hard work that they put in getting here, because it's the final test. It's the final exam, actually, at the end of the competitive year, and they want to come in ready, but it's going to be so hard, especially coming into these first days, because it's going to be all about, do they have the right read? Do they have the right preparation? And I know we got lucky enough to have some Champions Q games here and there, some in-houses as well. So what can we expect from Worlds, actually, when it comes into Champions? specifically?
Yeah, I mean, we're quite lucky. We got Pick'em, so it's usually one of my favorite parts going
Yeah,
into
I love
Worlds
it.
as well. And I want to bring mine up as well. And you can already in Twitch chat
All
start
right.
claiming GB, Pick'ems, or Mega Lol, whatever it is, because it's probably not completely right. But the meta has shifted a lot. And before you guys discuss my Pick'ems, I just want to say, I have Orianna because I was thinking, what's the safest blind pick? It could have been Kazante, could have been Jarvan, could have even been Syndra. I thought I got more Bannon. And my read on Ashe is definitely mega wrong. But yeah, the meta is completely shifting going into this Worlds from what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the key thing here is that if you haven't actually watched or been following along with Champions Queue or the patch changes, you might not know why is there not, Tristana and Corki and all these champions that we've talked so much about throughout the year shown in any of these pick'ems. Well, AD carries mid are presumably dead. Maybe Smolder's still going to be in there. Maybe we'll see some splash of that. But it is much more about mages in mid lane. It's much more about, early aggressive junglers, supportive style junglers, and not so much these AP heavy farming junglers. So there's been a lot of changes. A lot of the AD carries themselves have been nerfed. Support's pretty much the same. Top lane's kind of similar. But I think it's going to shift things a lot. And it's such a different challenge now for these teams because you qualified to Worlds by being excellent at one playstyle. And now here you're going to get tested on a completely different one.
Yeah, but you're still going to have like some bailouts, right? Yasuo and Yone still in a decent spot if you do want to run the AP junglers as well. But in general, I think the macro is just going to change from less side laning and more towards some of these team fights because that's what the mages are good at and not so much split pushing as we saw most Tristanas or some of the other 80 mid laners do throughout the year.
One thing we can all agree on is the fact that if some int comes, it's gonna come from the support role, and it's most likely gonna be Nautilus and Leona, because looking at what the community...
It could be Rel too.
Yeah, it could be Rel too, but looking forward to seeing what we're gonna see at Worlds, because we know that play-ins meta is usually completely different from the main stage meta, so excited to see what the teams have cooked for today. And you guys at home, do like GB. Lock in your pick'ems. Take the wildest guess. Be the best analyst by picking something random that you're going to be rewarded for later. But let's talk about the first matchup we have on our hands today, because the very first best of 3 in the play-in stage will feature Mad Lions Core. They will make their debut as an international roster, facing off against the runner-up from the VCS Vikings Esports in our featured matchup.
This is a solid first game, I'm not gonna lie. We got the rookies playing against, play-ins.
The LEC's Mad Lions Koi take to the stage against VCS newcomers Viking Esports.
Mad Lions Koi roar into life in season finals.
Vikings are led by the legendary jungler turned coach SOFM, with star ADC Shogun and mid laner Kadi taking the reins in game.
Is that Draco's?
Their opponents, Mad Lions Koi, should be the heavy favorites despite their rookie lineup, as jungler Elyoya is no stranger to international competition.
Frescawi waiting around the corner, lands the charm onto Caps, and Caps is sent packing. Now G2 will find a way to fight back, but Elyoya will not give them that opportunity.
But with Mad's history of falling short in play-ins and the VCS's reputation for upsets, nothing is certain in this series.
It's just game one, don't really matter. Whoever wins.
Crazy story for
Let's get into the
Mad
game.
Lions.
Elyoya for Scowie. So it's E versus Vietnam.
And also what has changed from the summer.
Only person I recognize is Kadi
The biggest difference, I think,
and
is
Shogun,
going to be
maybe.
mages in the mid lane instead of a slew of 80 carries, and I think specifically for Mad, that's going to help them a lot. I don't think Frescawi ever took that well to the 80 carry meta, but he's been a pro for a lot longer than just this year if you look at his total competitive career. And his most played all time are mages, as are most mid laners who have played along an effective meta. So I think he's going to be a lot more comfortable here. Something like even Ahri, Syndra are going to be available for him, and he can slot right in.
And so many of those AP items buffed as well, whether it's cost reduction or stats adjustments. See what he wants to prioritize. Shadow Flame, the first one that comes to my mind. VKE continuing what feels to be, I don't want to say like a standard pro play comp, because Lee Sin obviously is a bit spicy in this modern era, but you have a lot of stability in your early active jungler with the playmaking on the Lee Sin, alongside the stability of an Orianna and Ezreal and a Poppy who still can really go.
Why do we have Ezreal? Alright, okay,
Yeah, I mean,
Nautilus.
watching a little bit
Nautilus
of
is not
LEC,
too
Oscar and his
bad.
classic Poppy top lane into K'Sante could be a counter matchup. There was one support Poppy game.
I bet
for
Blitzcrank
Viking
when I
in
said that,
Summer
right?
Split plus playoffs, but there's a lot of stuff here that's actually not that common, and it shows how far the meta has changed. They played 0 Orianna games because they were pretty much super abiding by the Corki Zeri game. That's the Cinder locked in as we were expecting actually for Frescawi. And it
Yeah,
looks like
Cinder's
the
kinda
World's meta
broken.
is fairly similar to what we've been seeing in Champions Queue, Dracos.
Yeah, very much. And I think interesting because to me this feels like, this is almost the safe League of Legends competitive meta. Mages in the mid.
Once the support dies bottom lane, probably hold under the front to back because they have the K'Sante not all in with their how aggressive
Shot a champion. MDK. We're now moments away from getting
It's
into the game. And here we
worlds
are,
now.
MDK versus VKE. This best of 3 series, of course, deciding who will move up. No one eliminated yet. But if you manage to win these first 2 series, you'll already be moving on to the Swiss stage.
It
Both
just
teams
froze?
hoping to kick off with a win here in this first best of 3.
What the
quick
fuck?
hit on the format. As you mentioned, there are 4 teams moving on from the play-in to the Swiss stage, unlike last year where there were only 2 teams. So for these teams that are actually in the play-ins, it is a little bit more forgiving of a format. If I'm looking at the top lane engage right
Oh,
here, it's a
shit.
nice poke down.
Definitely not a forgiving level 1.
Yeah.
For Nanaway, that's pretty frustrating. Not sure what the time is on the clock as of this moment, but given how persistent Elyoya is being, minions just now spawning, Nanaway's not really going to get a chance to reset unless he wants to use that TP early on.
I mean, Elyoya's going to probably throw a spear on him, and they're just going to get eaten
MDK
up.
just finding individual members really early calls here. This has to be frustrating for VKE because
Are they
it's just
role
so disruptive
swapping?
to any plan you brought to the
Oh
table.
my
Well,
god,
also,
they're
we
lane
could be seeing
swapping.
the swap in game 1. Look where Supa is still. He's still around the red buff, going to be taking this top wave. So the changes that actually happened to the lane swap since the last time we saw Mad play is the turret fortification up top is much stronger. So it's way harder to take early plates, and it's
Why are we
higher
lane
sacrifice for the actual
swapping?
lane goal that you're going to get. So I need to see now how well VKE stack that wave in bot lane and how big the plate differential ends up being.
It's a good question. From
Why are we lane swapping?
85%
This doesn't matter at all.
For the first 5 minutes of the game,
Our
it is
Varro, what are we
9
doing?
to kill.
And 10% is not always 10%.
Yeah.
Right? When you're going towards 100% fortification, so it looks small on paper, is big in actuality. And they're actually going to be getting near that turret in the top lane fairly soon as we see some counter jungling coming down from the Lee Sin as well. And currently, nobody underneath that turret, but Alvaro is looking to probably hold under this read, and Mirwin can probably teleport in as well. This is the adaptation we've seen from a lot of top teams. When you get a level 2 support and a level 2 top laner, you can usually catch that wave and not die.
Alvaro, see if you can get any XP here. Unlikely he'll be able to grab any gold. This 4v1.
Does he just
If they
die?
TP in, then they can probably hold 2v4.
Oh right, they are gonna
Have to
TP.
see
So
the Poppy
yeah,
Camille
Cassante.
is big. Alvaro needs to be able to proc Aftershock. He immediately gets it off, buys himself a bit more time, but the Igniters aren't ticking, flashing out away from Bay, but the shield is already there. Mirwin now coming in.
That's so huge.
Camille taken out perfectly.
They just
timed.
it's like literally just baiting them into a fucking free kill in a fat ass wave for your top lane. That's so fucking crazy. And the fact that the top laner died too is actually so bad because now he can't TP. Well, he's gonna be able to TP in 3 seconds, but he can't TP to get this shit topside. It's actually crazy.
Man, that's a bold play there, and it worked out beautifully for Mad. I think if Mirwin teleports in early, they maybe don't even dive, but in terms of actual top lane experience, this is the dream. Sure, his support dies. Who cares? He gets an extra 300 gold, and he gets to catch the whole wave of solo experience
Oh
on
my
the Cassante.
God.
That's nice.
That's absolutely fantastic. So often in the lane swap, you're really just judging the XP difference between these respective solo laners. Mirwin able to catch a ton of that, was shared.
And then now he's about to recall and then go top lane, and now he's just
I'm not gonna say it was
so
perfectly
much
planned,
ahead.
But the result definitely feels pretty good. Is now Kawi forced to flash away early, devastating in this matchup because Frescowi's setup for future ganks is just so easy.
Absolutely, and I think that's a continuation of the lane swap. Once the support dies bottom lane, you don't know what lane the Jinx or the Cassante are going to be redeploying to. Definitely just lost track of where the Nautilus could be, so good gank there by Alvaro, and maybe overstaying a little bit in this lane, but it's totally fine as long as Supa is uncontested in that bot lane on Jinx.
Yeah, Supa happy to have that time isolated on the top side. Only a single plate being taken across that entire swap, much more about that early dive, which is big. You can see the gold essentially neck and neck, 6.5, 100 gold difference, really all it's separating. We'll see as we get closer and closer to that first grub spawn, if anyone is going to reset, try to reposition on the map to try and find a man advantage or more vision control around that objective. But for now, relatively quiet early game following that initial chaotic few levels.
Yeah, we got really excited about that lane swap,
And then it
but
was
now I'm
very
looking
short.
at the scoreboard, and there's like half a level for Mirwin ahead of Nanue, and then the 80 carries are basically...
Did he troll a freeze or
It's a
something?
plate for 10 more seasons. It pretty much canceled itself out. Now we're
Nah,
back to standard lanes.
nah, because how did that
Got
happen?
away from the Ezreal before first base.
We had a oh, he was kind of late.
Dorans, and he can jump on top of you. He gets all those free stats. Maybe he's a bit more of a threat, but yeah, pretty quiet overall.
Junglers are the same CS.
Yeah. This is the modern era of lane swaps, you know? I think, frankly, I think MDK did get away with murder there because the Balance team really tried to make it as unappealing as possible to lane swap. They said, you will lose so much money if you try to go for this.
We
As
might see
Mirwin,
gank top.
level 5 will be difficult to lock down. Doesn't have 6, but does have Flash. Not opting for the Ghost in this matchup. Still tanky. Not sure if he has the W, the Pathmaker up and available, but won't even need to use it.
Yeah, and Lee Sin just had a bunch of free time there. You can see there's no jungle camps up at the moment. Grubs haven't spawned yet. Nobody's on Drake, so he really just wanted to get some poke off. On the lane swap thing,
I want to play League now. And Climb. Oh, I did. I'm fucking, bro. I had the craziest losing streak. Bro, guys, I had the craziest losing streak to almost plat. I had 0 LP Emerald 4, bro. And now we're back in Emerald 3, bro. But this is crazy because I was Emerald 2, bro. Trying to get to a diamond, bro, and that shit did not work, bro. This shit is so cooked. I was Emerald 2, bro. I was about to be Emerald 1. No, I wasn't. I think I hit like Emerald 2, 40 LP or something like that around there. 42 or something.
We're going to see what ends up happening
bullshit, bro.
Throughout the rest of Worlds.
It's a good question. Of course, objectives being traded here, both tower plates and grubs for Dragon. So MDK grabbing a couple plates topside for the Jinx. Elyoya going to pick up all 3 of the initial grub spawn. Grub trade early on, I feel like much better than the Drake, but if we end up in a late game situation, that might change. Instant hook onto Poppy, coming in from Alvaro. BA on the way out is Supa ghosting already.
Yo, Jinx is broken, by the way, too.
But it does. That's the damage they need. MDK finding a kill on the top side, and Nanoe is going to
Yo, Jinx is actually broken, by the way. Do know that.
But luckily does tick over to level 6.
Yeah, really nice getting the kill onto Elyoya there after the grubs, then also being...
Yeah, they're in the hometown of fucking Europe, so the crowd should be so happy for her.
And that, I think, is the most positive play that Matt have had yet this game.
Certainly, and I think it's pretty difficult for there to be a counterpunch on the bottom side from VKE, because Lee Sin Ezreal against a potential level 6 Cassante is just a difficult target to lock down, especially when he already has double cloth armor, and now he might see the redone. VA coming in, level 6 there, Super going to be in trouble.
Nice peel. Can we get an ulti? Good flash. There we go. It's just too easy. These niggas are rookies. They're not looking like. Wait a minute. Has to dash a Q. He dashed the Q. Oh, he flashed too. He's dead. Nah, he matched the flash.
Swing and a miss there for Mirwin. Would have had the tools to escape, collect this big wave under the turret, goes for the big play and falls. That kind of cancels out the positive play for Mad on the other side of the map. Supa narrowly avoiding that fast play that Nanoe tried to pull off on the top lane. So all told, it was another trade, really, even though they were somewhat disconnected plays.
Yeah.
Hovering in the darkness here, ready to protect his control ward, but you're completely correct. I think Mirwin, I respect that this is a stage he knows, he's feeling comfortable, he's feeling confident, he wants to go for the play, but it's one of those classic situations in pro play where you didn't need to. If it worked, great. But you kind of already won on the top side.
Yo, Jinx is so strong, man. I don't know what he's going. Is he going? It looked like he's going IE first or something.
Comfortable at least in that one.
And we're going to get to see this again. I actually like the idea of the fast play from Nanoe here to try and burst out the Jinx, but they just weren't quite quick enough. If they sit under the turret, maybe the dive just gets canceled out, but if they could have gotten that one kill, they really could have burned a lot of tempo. Mirwin right here, I think he actually does have a kill angle, but you can see he misses his E, he ults over, he flashes, missed his Q3 as well, then can't get the dash through onto Shogun either, so missed a lot of spells there to prevent the kill onto Ezreal.
Yeah, good movement coming in ultimately to avoid some of that Cassante burst that'll come through.
Yeah, and listen, Shogun is not like he's some scrub on Ezreal. He's 11-1 on Ezreal this summer, so he's definitely very skilled and comfortable on the pick. That's one of the reasons they would have picked it after seeing the Jinx.
Yeah, and if any champion in the game can dance around a Cassante, it is the Ezreal. This is not an immobile 80 carry, sitting, waiting to be jumped on. Now, again, gold lead not massive. 3 grubs here. Second grub's gone is going to be big. If MDK can get that 4 stack, can get that buff, will aid a lot of that side lane pressure that they really do have. The Nidalee kind of a constant threat here for anyone sitting under a tower. The poke, the ability to really just jail opposing laners, stop them from...
Mid lane is so lame.
Yeah, and I want to see how...
Why the fuck would you want to be a mid laner, bro? There's only 3 lanes that are actually cool. It's ADC, support, and jungle. That's it. Those are the only 3 lanes that are actually cool in this game. If you're a mid laner, you're lame as fuck. If you're a top laner, you a bitch ass nigga for real. I really hate top laners. Y'all some real niggas. I hate top laners, bro. Y'all really some bitches.
The tools to kill Supa. And the previous play. They fumbled it just a little bit. Nanaway wants to keep it going. Traps on the ground.
Them niggas be so clueless, bro. Like a team fight happens, they're just gonna go in even if you need peel or some shit like that. Like niggas be stupid as fuck. I hate top winners.
Cannon Minion slows that a little bit, but a couple hundred standing gold essentially paid by VKE to get involved in this play. Guri not going to find the kick, but they have successly zoned MDK away from the grubs thus far.
Yeah, I mean, VKE spent so much.
Oh, let's get a good engage. We got Malwin on the flank, no flash. He has ulti though. It's happening.
Ulti from Mirwin is going to be big, trying to get around Caddy. Going to move forward, going to find the edge.
There we go. Alright, we're out. Do the Baron or whatever. Herald. I mean, Elder. What is that shit? The mites. Grublings. Grubhub. They used to be sponsored by Grubhub. Imagine they had Grubbies in Grubhub. The grub combo. I don't know, bro.
That's now a 5-grub game for Mad, so they're going to be getting the little extra voidlings every time they hit the turret. And on top of that, it's actually Mirwin who's able to get the flank. What a nice play. They're going into 5 people, not getting locked down, taking the Ezreal to safety.
How did no one sees this Cassante? Are you dead ass? And then Ezreal just ease into him when he could have just walked to top side. That's just so silly.
You know, something like standing gold or a wave to make a play, but when the play you try to make also fails, it's just all those deficits start to compound, and now we're seeing MDK pull ahead with a pretty significant goal lead, and with the grubs backing them up as well, it'll only make the Herald more powerful, it'll only make further pushes on side lane powerful as well. So things looking a little bit difficult here for VKE thus far. Of course, 1-2 items for both the Ezreal and the Orianna. They'll still be powerful in the context of the game, but they can't really afford any more sloppy setups. Can't afford to walk away empty-handed from any more plays like that.
Yeah, absolutely not. You can see Elyoya really setting up shop here in the top side, warding off the Poppy at the red buff, which then gives Supa free time to take what could be the first turret of the game and extra plates on the Jinx. So this seems to be the style for Elyoya this game. He's not trying to heavily counter jungle the Lee Sin and get a massive CS advantage for himself. He's trying to just get his Jinx ahead, because that's ultimately going to be the win condition of the team. Currently, most of the gold lead was on the Nidalee. It was 1,000 of the 1,600.
Yeah, the barrier. She missed the cue.
Spreads their gold lead a lot more evenly.
Now this team is just gapping them. I don't even need to really finish the rest of this. Oh, they're throwing instantly, bro. I just said that, and then they just start to throw.
Looks like they've locked up Mirwin.
Why are we playing towards Cassante? Why are we playing towards Cassante? Why are we playing towards Cassante? Why are we playing towards Cassante?
Mirwin in trouble here, unstoppable, but obviously the Camille ult's still going to bring him back, likely to fall.
What the fuck?
Will dash have safety footwork, not quite in range for Alvaro to get the extra range. Unstoppable though. Follow-up is there. Mirwin's still alive. Ball comes in. Gotti takes
That's too dead.
So one of those things constantly respect, because the ability for the Lee Sin to hide behind the Camille and then burst down pretty much anyone except for Mirwin is going to be present the entire game. So Syndra Frescowie has to be very vigilant of that possibility whenever he's pushing sides this game.
Definitely does. That Camille side lane threat is going to disrupt so much of what MDK would normally be able to do with a lead like this. So for now, they're just going to focus on playing around the Jinx.
This is nice.
Keep core members strong. I like using the Herald in mid lane, just get more passive control over the map instead of trying to get that additional gold from going on side. MDK not afraid to walk up here. Supa knows he has so much coverage from his team. A second charge. All those little grubbies. They want to get a second tower here. Instant stun on the VA. Hook goes in. Alvaro unfortunately hitting him.
Tower. Alright, run bot side, guys. Everyone run bot side, run bot side, guys, run bot side. Guys, run, just run. Kill them all. Can't we just kill them here? Can we not just kill them here? Can we not just kill them here? I guess we want bot tower, defend bot.
Really nice play there by Mad.
I feel like it's like 4v2 in the jungle. You just run them down, keep kiting south, and if they can't engage at all, and then if they try to, you keep kiting south of the fight, and then they'll just have to back up. That wave will die, and then you push the next wave. You could get the tower. You could be like on the tower as or some shit like that. That's how I'm thinking.
Double mid towers I have not seen very frequently. No. very powerful, so much passive control generated now. Every time Supa pushes a wave here, we'll see how confident Shogun is to step up. For now, seems like he is, but when they don't have that vision, he's really going to have to be cautious about going too far forward. Elyoya spending some of that well-earned money on the Seeker's arm guard, so not
it was
more
literally,
damage, instead getting a defensive item, maybe hoping to limit some of VKE's options or angles of attack in any coming fights.
And I will say this next minute for Mad is really important that they can get proper setup on this.
Oh shit, he's sending it in the flank. Wait, what? No, no, don't do this. Red team, no, no, don't do this. It's not worth it. Wait, it might be worth it. He's dead, okay. Wait, we look Camille.
Oh, they're trapped.
Oh, he's out? He's fucking juking nothing. Need that to the Jinx. Cassante. Yo, Marwin, what are we doing? I thought we were done fighting that. Bro, he's still...
And he was able to get a full channeled recall off, then teleports back in to get the kill. And even though they killed the jungler, they're down both soul laners, so they might not even be able to secure this Drake.
Someone needs to answer this wave on the bottom side. Nanoe, will he overstay? No, happy. Just get a bit of extra pressure and walk away. Recall's coming through. Nanoe
I am upset.
Elyoya off on the side. Are they willing to chase this Camille to the ends of the earth
Okay.
to stop this recall?
There's no TP to save him this time, but it's also, they don't entirely know where everyone is.
Are you serious?
They also don't know where the Camille is entirely, plus with the flash up.
Yeah, Rihanna just recalled, like...
Because everyone's respawn timers took so long and they're redeploying now towards mid lane, it's again the setup for this Dragon. So we're in a bit of the same situation where if Mad can't stop the Dragon Snowball, they'd actually be in trouble despite how much gold they have on the Nidalee and the Jinx.
Yeah, Supa is powerful. If they can protect him in a fight, if they can get a full 5v5, they're going to feel good. But right now, it's VKE who pushed that wave and who forced MDK to respond. VKE who are going to be first and set up on the Drake, doing their diligence now to clear out some of this vision.
Well, I will say, with the Camille showing on this wave,
and no TP,
Mad should just walk in and take it.
Yeah. VKE had first move in mid, but instead prioritizing giving Nanoe some time to pick up XP, maybe take down a tower. Obviously under no threat themselves, right? The MDK have not taken a single Drake yet, so instead just getting some free gold, maybe feeling like once Camille gets to 2 items, their game plan gets a lot easier, as it will just be a tower for Drake exchange. MDK would like to make it positive in their favor, but Kadi quick with the shockwave there means that no wave to play on.
No, that was a really nice ult there by Kadi to save that turret, because you could see Mad wanted to go for a turret trade there. Maybe we see a little bit of 1v1 action. No, he's just going to dash away.
Very constantly here to cover, but play just gonna fizzle. Taking blue here with it's a bit bold.
Yep, a little bit.
All right.
Elyoya, he's gonna get it though.
He said might be blind, but you can't say he's not confident.
Nope. Turret ends up going to the Syndra anyway, just 30 seconds late, so it ends up actually being the turret trade. Gold lead stays about the same, but I'm actually pretty impressed with Viking here sticking with Mad. I think since this gold lead was about 2,000 or 3,000 8 minutes ago, I've seen a lot of other games between major region, play-in region, snowball from that point, but they've held on. They pulled off a couple of nice plays with Nanoe's Camille. I'd say Kati's Orianna has really shown up in the right spots, and they haven't really been heavily out macroed here.
What the fuck is that ulti?
This game will come
Trying
down
to hit
to
Jinx?
Mad finding ways to get picks in the jungle, take second-tier turrets, and ultimately force Baron, because I think if they end up having to wait until Soul for this game, we're talking like a 40-minute game, and it's a total flip. But with this advantage, there would be a play. Like, say if they can actually catch Camille up here in the top lane, keep going for that turret, these are the types of plays Mad's going to be looking for.
And MDK as a team, of course, love to fish for picks. One of the simplest ways in the mid and late game for them to close things out. Oftentimes, not always the cleanest mid to late game macro team in the context of the LEC, so a bit of a test here for them in their first play-ins game. Right now, advantage on top side, multiple members committed, no real other pressure point.
Kill her. Kill this Camille. Did she just flash? Yo, kill the TP, kill the TP, kill the TP. Okay, we recall.
On the retreat, instantly everyone is recalling. Tier 2 tower and a kill going to be traded for this tier 1 tower. Shogun is at least firing back.
Yeah, probably caster curse to macro a little bit there. I think that was a split call if I'm going to give Nanoe the benefit of the doubt. The fact that the Orianna teleport came in on what would have been a flank ward meant they were probably saying that they were going to be looking for a fight, so Nanaue wanted to have the turret there for the fight and trap them. But Mad was faster on the play. The Demolish plus the Jinx took the turret faster than he expected, and he ends up just looking like a fool.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened. He ended up just looking like a fool. I didn't say that, but that's what you think.
At this stage,
Yeah.
hasn't really been under too much threat. Haven't really been any big 5v5s yet, outside of a single play around the top side and that second grub spawn. But Baron's now on the table, and obviously Jinx always going to be pretty fantastic at taking that objective if left unattended. As VKE trying to make a fast play on the mid lane. Supa getting out. Oh, squawking up now. Backstep is good. Good movement.
Oh, he's going to be really fed this game. He's not even reached his final form there, and he's already dodging around, getting huge poke damage onto the Lee Sin. I think the player that has been largely silent but is now very important, as that recall almost gets interrupted, is Frescowy's Syndra.
Yep.
This is the item buff for Storm Surge, and it's also the champion that has become viable because of it. He's at a point where he can probably one-shot the Camille at the start of a team fight, which is really going to diminish Vikings' ability to engage.
Definitely is, right? And both butt items, the Ludens and the Storm Surge, adjusted in between the mini patches since we've last seen competitive play, regardless of what your personal playoffs were played on. We'll see how he wants to leverage that threat. Even just the scatter the weak to start fights alongside Elyoya is going to be such a massive threat. And the frustrating part is, if you buy MR to deal
Why is
with
this shit
duo
even,
and end up in
bro?
a team fight, Supa's going to eat you alive.
Are you telling me they're just gonna lose?
Absolutely, and there's very, very low Mercury treads usage.
Who's winning
by this
today,
team.
bro?
So like Kati goes a little bit damage heavy. I could see a little bit of MR from Orianna in this matchup generally, if it's a Nidalee Orianna mid jungle, but I think because the Jinx is so accelerated, the game plan for VKE is probably just going to be to try and punish the immobility of the damage dealers. Even though the Syndra and the Jinx are very fed, if they are somehow both in range of a Camille...
This Jinx build is so awful.
So it's going to be these team fights are going to be very skill dependent on whether or not Viking can land their skill shots.
About set up Shogun.
I'm just kidding. It's not. It's awful.
Wave, and that might cost him. For now, it's just the flash. Zap does hit. MDK want to follow up. Alvaro immediately going to find the flash. The knockup still going to come through on the ulti, but BA managing to get at least a little bit of a disengage. The Poppy now trying to walk away. Good as
Are we chased? Guys, we saw the TP, right?
Nowhere to be found yet. That shockwave will be everything if they can find MDK group, but MDK able to retreat, able to back off without losing too much.
All right, so let's check what actually got burned. The Camille loses the teleport, which diminishes their ability to trade when giving up Drake. There's no flash on the Ezreal, and Matt is trying to set up for this Drake, but it's not going to be given.
But it's important to note, when they started to push out mid lane, already VKE were on the side lanes. You can see that entire bot lane wave getting deleted. They're losing gold just to be here. MDK conceding a couple waves.
Oh, if that hit, he's dead as fuck. Oh, he's still dead.
Damage is massive, and now Shogun's been caught out as well. He doesn't even have room to play the game. VKE couldn't find the angle to force a fight. Can't even find the angle to group up and fight together.
Wait. Good, yo. Elyoya.
Fully confident in their ability to execute.
Wait, why am I covering the map?
Breaks the game open for Mad. You could see the
Elyoya.
bursting the majority of the Camille's health before the final spear comes through to finish the job. Now 6 kills for Elyoya's Nidalee. Watching this one more time, even if they don't land the hard CC, just the R button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spheres, not even a like Giga 7 or 8 sphere move right there.
I mean,
is enough to take him down. And
the Nidalee, he didn't see the Nidalee.
In front, and they can clear the rest. They take the Drake. Now they go for Baron. This is a bit dicey.
Curry is here. Flash is might available.
For Scowy, he must have Zonias. Get his ass. Ooh.
Feel the wind on his backside. Barely able to walk that one out, but it's at least stopped the play crucially, and the side wave still in favor of VKE. At some point, MDK will need to manage here.
Man, that was close. You can see the Cinder turning on though. Like that damage is really
I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at how much damage that Syndra goes, and I go, I don't know if this was a Ravenous Hydra game, but this might just be a cheeky Baron game. TP coming in.
Baron is just dying.
VKE are going to get this objective. Elyoya has no way in. Mirwan getting cheeky. He cannot steal this.
Wow.
Walk away.
Oh my god, I don't want to watch this. 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 They're so ahead, and they just gave a Baron. This shit is so crazy.
Just bursting the Baron. Type of team that was going to burn it, but
composition is if they're ever outnumbered. None of these champions really have
That's so bad. This game could end so quickly.
Almost a minute of it.
You have a big Baron power. Slight
Crude.
1,000 most
Essentially, there's almost no defensive itemization that has come through from VKE yet outside of.
Yo, we cannot let them people get the towers.
But, as you
Oh
highlighted so
my
well,
god.
You have an Orianna ball that you can strap to a Camille, you can strap to a Lee Sin.
We just let them.
So he just has the luxury of buying so
I
many of
don't
these
care
more
about trading
aggressive,
towers, bro. Do not
elite
give
carry
second tower,
items, and now
bro.
he's going to be even more comfortable in the fights.
Yeah, if we're trying to guess what VKE is saying about their itemization is the best defense is more offense. Because they just need more damage to make sure that the Jinx and the Cinder can't take him down.
I just think Sterix Gauge is generally such a strong item, and while I get Ravenous for the side lane threat, I'm just like, I can't just Sterix Gauge every game. That too much scary case for VKE is
in the river,
now going in, Fresco.
hold the bush. So
Okay.
this is it though. You can see VKE.
She's just sitting on vision. No one's sweeping. We have 2 control wards. Lee Sin. We have 4 control wards.
But they're not.
How is she just sitting on vision?
Yeah, instant pick. Yeah, full confidence. Super now going in. Frescowi retreating. BA picked.
Now he put it down and it's still not even revealing, bro. My team is so... Oh my god. They stole the dragon.
Now gonna make his way over the top. In the meantime, Shogun now trying to get out. Now away, getting the kill back. Frescowi taking out the equation. Guri coming around the corner. Shogun. Mirwin going all out. Can he take down 2? Dashing forward. Now has to backstep. Is it still gonna cancel the all once
All the Ezreal's not doing damage. He got it finally. Can he get out? Death? Ah, I don't want to. Yo, they're gonna lose?
To recap, going to be being able to get in all of this is going to be the biggest tragedy, and the fact that that went over to Ezreal.
That was wild. Skyprox alone in that fight, allowing Guri to play on the absolute edge to salvage what he could from that exchange. And despite so many of the bigger plays, like the grubs, a couple of these straight contests going to MDK, the gold is neck and neck, and Nanaway is just becoming a bigger and bigger threat the entire game.
Angel, I think he'll sell the Seekers and probably buy the Guardian Angel, but by that time he's probably used. What happened on the last Drake? Move into their zone, they're going to be able to win that fight because they have a stronger front line and they have good ways of following up on that front line. But if the game gets too...
It's going to be so crucial. And when you look at the veterancy of both of these teams, Yo-Yo really the leader of this MDK lineup is the pick initially coming out.
It's the flash out.
Really able to walk away. So ulti down for Alvaro is a big to start the fight.
We really have to watch Camille here. That's a nice trap. It found him. Otherwise, he still wants to control that zone there. There's not enough wards for Mad to actually stop him from being here. Mirwin trying to mark him, but he's jumped on now.
Mirwin not unkillable. It's a matter of time before that life bar is just going to be deleted. Poppy ready to disengage the play. VKE uncertain if they can go for the finish here. Go for the kill.
Now we're in. You need to chill out, bro.
Now Mirwin has to base TP to get back.
Shogun getting chunked out. Mirwin canceled. Excellent ult coming in from Shogun. He's been so clutch for this team so many times in there.
True.
Giving them the advantage.
Hit them Qs.
With the TP. Alvaro going in. Nice hook to start things off.
Yep, she's. Oh my god.
VKE immediately retreating. Might just be able to go for the 50-50 here. Elyoya hovering. They're not going to hit the objective. They know it's instead about the fight. Nanaway caught out. CC locked down. No. X-Tech ultimatum. Not enough. Shutdown coming through clutch for the Syndra. Dragon going down for MDK.
Yo, actually, Shogun is actually just so much better than his team, bro.
Wants this tower at the very least, maybe even the inhibitor to follow.
Those are really long death timers on the Orianna and the Camille. That was a nice patient fight there by Mad, so it's still 3v5. This is at least 2 inhibitor turrets.
They don't really have any good wave clearance. They don't really have any good way to stop this push, and Supa is incredibly powerful. Reset's going to be coming through for all of these little objectives.
Still dead. They could go for it.
Alvaro hooking in, knock back onto Supa is big. It'll at least buy them a bit more space, a bit more time. Guri debating if he wants to follow up.
Alvaro.
Hits, the resonating strike not going to come through. Nanaway 22 seconds. 9 for Kadi. Shockwave will be big here. Mirwin isolated. Shogun caught out. Rocket to finish the job.
You can't buffer it, man. You can't buffer it.
Surely this is the end for VKE in game 1.
You just gotta dodge it, bro. He did that a few times. It was fine those times, but there they was able to chase him. And if he's alive here, if he was alive here, they might easily turn this. Oh, Camille. Okay, Camille, watch Camille. If Ezreal was alive here, man. If Ezreal was alive here, man. Actually, unlucky.
pushes in with confidence. He might not find the kill. Damn well will get the game. MDK strike first in this series.
It was a journey, but they got there in the end. I'd say.
That's just game one.
And
Okay.
again, yeah,
There's more games. Wait, why do we have Shogun on fucking Jin? We could have kept him on Ezreal, it's fine.
I think if you had to pick between Alistair Rel, which one would
Why did they move him off of Jin, off of Ezreal? He doesn't need to be a Jin, bro.
Like a range support like Lulu and just take over the laning phase because they don't
Oh my god.
only change.
Take to the rift. The second game was something.
And do we see a swap again? I think
It's just another jungle gap or what?
The Jinx and the Cassante and how it seemed quite effective for Mad in the first game. Based on this setup, it would say no, but you can still switch through the mid lane whenever you want.
Only think that worked out so well because of the absolutely crazy timing where Mirwan shows up bot lane, gets all the XP and a kill.
Yeah.
I don't think you can guarantee that again, but Jat,
They're doing it.
you might be the wiser man here. They are setting up for it. Super still on the top side, past a minute. This is going to be difficult for Nanawe.
I'm just wondering what's going to be different because that was like such a standard swap, at least what I would consider standard now, where when they try and crash the wave, you bring down 2 level 2 people, and if you're doing it like full standard, you teleport in a little bit earlier and everyone just like walks away, and then you're not even getting that many plates. That's how I'd like to see Vikings actually respond to it, is they just stack the wave and they get as many plates bottom as they can. Going for the dive is actually, if Mad have enough experience to defend it, it's not going to be that big a deal.
See if anything happens here as we approach. Actually, we're not going to be approaching level 2. I forgot there's 2 champions in this lane. The old patterns of mid lane in my head. I'm not used to the new reality of 2v2s. So see if there's any angle here. Of course, Guri being spotted on the ward means MDK likely to just start playing towards the top side. Level 2 for BA will be big.
Yeah, I mean, they're vertical jungling. You can see the support is getting level 2 by sharing, then he leaves. The top lane should get level 2 by sharing, and then he leaves. And then Alvaro finds the jungler, harass him if he can, actually. This could be a big win if he just walks into this bush.
Alvaro.
Just try and push him off. He doesn't have smite.
Yeah, on the way down. That's an ignite already ticking. Aftershock damage going to come in. The Guri, quick flash, quick fingers. Means he'll make it out of that one, but doesn't have
It will he make? He does not.
There's surely no way Guri gets out of this one. A dark sphere.
Wow. Yo, these guys are not real.
For VKE, Fresco and Alvaro going for a bit more chip damage here, but Cotty there to cover at the very least. TP's back to the bottom side, coming in from Mirwan. Meanwhile, TP from Nanawe on the opposite side. So mirrored start, but the kill is still in favor. And Elyoyo already.
There we go. He's gonna flash.
He's got nowhere to go.
He's gonna flash.
Still have enough space to walk away. Why is he sticking around?
He's fine. He's sticking around because he wants to kill.
No, I'm saying he's like, what? Why can't he walk back in?
It doesn't have flash.
Oh, fair.
We learned that in game 1. But right here, this is why you swap, Dracos. It's because you can create these somewhat chaotic situations. And to me, Vikings just slept on it a little bit. They weren't expecting Alvaro to go looking for his jungler. And just Jarvan gets a little bit low doing that clear, especially when you're in the enemy's jungler, because those camps, when you're counter jungling early in the game, actually have more durability. So you hit them slower, they do more damage back to you, and they just get 2 kills manufactured off of this swap, maybe more.
Oh my god.
Spotted him now. Alvaro's going to go and going to miss on the initial shattering strike, but that's a level 2 Jarvan. MDK bullying VKE in this early game. 1.5k, 1.6k gold lead, not even 4 minutes in. It shows.
No shot. I didn't even look at the map.
She has cleanse.
Taking their time. Pullback is there. The cleanse potentially a little bit late. Elyoyo wants to go for more. 4-shot big. Okay, walking away. But you're so right, Jet. If it comes down to a situation where you're trying to out-clear speed in Italy early on, you're just not going to win that, especially as a J4. And now, Guri's life is miserable because he doesn't have a topside jungle. You can see him now on that mini-map. He's wandering in to see if he can even get a little crumb, a little scuttlecraft, just desperately wants level 3, but yeah, luckily not on the top side of the map means he will at least be able to get something back. We'll see if he can counter jungle any camps, but right now he's at a pretty massive early deficit. 800 gold overall on top of a bit of an XP lead coming in from Elyoyo, which will only continue to grow as he farms the rest of those camps.
Yeah, I wonder how much he's going to continue to just be in Jarvan's face. He's got so many camps of his own that he can go clear. I think that's what Elyoyo is going to do, just kind of take that free golden experience, because when he gets his first item, he's really going to be able to walk in and continue to punish. But that was just overall beautifully done by Mad, and I'd say poorly done by Vikings. If they have the Jarvan, like, I'm going to go back a little bit. I think as long as nothing crazy is happening, I'm going to go back a bit to like what they could have done to maybe prevent the Jarvan from dying. Is they need to they probably just need to have Renekton babysitting the Jarvan if the enemy support is going to be looking for you in the jungle, because that way he can't actually go for the all-in. You don't have to worry about experience share in that case, and the Renekton falls a little bit behind, but at least the game stays stable, and you'll gain it back with the additional plate gold that you'll get by swapping. So every time a team initiates a swap, they are at a disadvantage for initiating based on the geometry of the map and the increased turret fortification, but the advantages can come through experience and through the team comp being superior. So this case, the team comp of the Nidalee was a better clear than the Jarvan, and the Rel was extremely good at finding the Jarvan, and that's the advantage that they were able to exploit.
Also, those Rel early levels. Until Alistair has level 3, he just doesn't really have that much damage in the kit in a full rotation, even with Ignite. And so if there's a 2v2 Alvaro versus Elyoya versus Guri and BA, they're not winning that in any circumstance, and the lane swap allows them to find that situation where they can leverage 2v2 strength that in a normal standard lane game of League of Legends, you're just not going to see.
Yeah, so again, it's about a 2,000 gold lead. Feels like that's been the gold lead the entire series. It just happened a little earlier in game 2.
Yeah, I think this game's a little bit harder to play. Credit to Guri, he's still walking in like these belong to him. Elyoya says no, hits the spear and the smite.
I mean, it's a level 6 Renekton, so he's got to be a little bit cautious, but look at him just playing on the edge there. Oh, so good.
Alvaro's here too.
Spear. They can see him with Sweeper.
Stop a couple backs. Guri in trouble. Nanoe now has to cancel his recall. Supa is already moving up to the tower. Level 6 Renekton probably can hold this solo, but luckily Shogun's on the way, so he won't be in a situation where he has to. MDK can't afford to overextend here. The sheer amount of CC and setup is big, but with Renekton losing his entire...
Oh my god. They just gave a free one to Jinx. And he's out!
Elyoya, Supa, Alvaro just dancing on Viking Esports.
And they're not going to stop. Nidalee has enough mod to just keep throwing spears. Supa's getting this next wave, and they are going to have to abandon this turret.
Thing is, they don't know if Rel is there, so they have to leave. Despite Alvaro's low health bar, a single piece of CC hitting is a death sentence for Shogun and BA. Now they're starting to wander up, but there's nowhere they can go. There's no play they can make on the map. They're just forced to play to the tune of MDK.
Oh, shit. Now we gotta get out of here, guys.
Showing up again. Topside, at least he's got some Krugs to get some XP back.
Wow, they're playing clean. So I did not see Supa hit level 6, and I'm willing to say Nanoe, Renekton, did not see the level 6 either. He's all discombobulated, just like I am. But that was such a beautiful exchange, because absolutely, your level 6 Renekton, you think they're mad if they come for me. But my goodness, they were not.
They're mad lions.
You gave me like a little...
They are mad. I mean, you said they're mad.
I know, I didn't actually mean to do it.
I know, but that's why I gave you the thumbs up.
Thanks, bro.
It's like when Amazing played, and we always had to call plays solid instead of amazing.
I mean, okay, Jinx is actually level 6 for quite a while. Stunned into Airborne, has a window where he could have pressed.
He was about to.
Through,
It sound. I think I heard it. It sounded like he was about to, but he's ignited, so like.
2 for 1, and both kills going over to Supa's Jinx, and then also Vikings having to abandon this turret is just the cherry on top.
And when you fall behind in these skirmishes, even when you're under the tower, look how free it is for Jinx to walk up, get a cheeky auto, Nidalee walk up, throw an auto, throw a spear. There's nothing you can do. You're literally just trapped there waiting, hoping that they don't have enough in the tank to force the dive. It's Rescaui, nice scatter, bit of additional damage, and we take a look at the overall map state. With a lead like this, MDK can do a lot, but Mirwan matched up against Shogun. Shogun not the Ezreal anymore. Might need to burn the flash here, does have cleanse as well. Q3 ready to go, flash forward, looking to lock him up, but Shogun clean flash out to safety, will at least survive for now.
Oh my god.
Immediately cancel the all out to get those resistances.
Uh-oh.
Caught. Good upfront damage. Mirwan gonna try to body block and he fall. The shockwave.
They're throwing! No! They're throwing!
Now gonna find the counter audience as well. Good punish coming through from VKE on the bottom side. Mirwan overcommitting. Elyoya overcommitting.
If we learned anything from game 1, it's that Vikings is never not.
Bro, Jinx is your damage fighter. Oh! Oh!
Just barely able to walk away. Nanoe can't get close. BA, how long
The ghost. He didn't even flash.
For Alvaro in the meantime, but he's got a flash as well. Last hit coming through, one auto will stun, but Alvaro gets the stun back. Stops any follow-up. No rocket for Supa. Used it in the earlier play. Tried to get a kill bottom lane. Nidalee on the way up.
That's it, bro. That's it.
He actually held his flash that entire time, so BA never actually had a kill angle. If he goes back for another headbutt, it would have just been flashed. And they are able to get out of that situation without a death, but they obviously did lose Mirwin and Elyoya in the earlier exchange, so a little bit of that early lane swap lead goes away.
Unfortunately, still leads in just about every single role. And reminder that MDK, you know, it has been a very up and down year. They started winter incredibly strong, dropped off a cliff, made a miracle run to get back into the playoffs eventually. And I think MDK always seem to find a slightly frustrating way for some fans to qualify to international champions. They're complaining about win rate, they complain about best of fives, complain about them losing to EG, but they're not losing to anybody right now. They are smacking VKE around. We're gonna have to see what they can do to bring themselves back in this game, because while some of the gold leads are manageable, Supa is getting very powerful very quickly.
Ooh.
Their jungle is
They're
here.
playing this game really cleanly. You can see they're well prepped and willing to pull off lane swaps at the very early stages of this tournament, which I think is just going to make other teams question and just question their drafts, have to worry about lane swaps every time they play them. So I think if you're going to lane swap, doing it in the very first game of Worlds is actually really good, because it puts other teams on notice that you're going to be trying it. And then I think potentially you know, whatever nerves they might have had in game 1 seem to be gone here in game 2, because I think they're playing a lot cleaner.
A lot more confident. That much is certain. Finding those angles, really punishing VKE for getting maybe a little bit complacent in the context of that lane swap. So easy to just go through the steps one at a time, not respect the potential for counterplays. Now finally, a standard 2v2 on the bottom side of Shogun. Some nice movement, gets him away from the Shattering Strike.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be getting this turret now with Elyoya behind them on Nidalee. If they kill the turret and then go for the kills,
reset,
it's
they're
gonna
going to be there for Supa. Extra movement speed starts to run forward. Shogun, if he gets hit by any piece of CC, likely to fall. Nice sidestep, nice knockup.
Good cue.
But still, the traps are going to connect. Luckily, has the Unbreakable Will. In the meantime, Grub's
Well played, I
getting
guess.
down. VKA likely just to even this up 3-2-3, but the tower has already fallen.
Yeah. I mean, when like the best thing that happens is that your AD carry didn't die after losing your turret, that would have been a nice steal.
That would have been a good steal, but Guri, good backstep.
TLDR, Vikings is not in a good spot, because I was like, wow, amazing, Jin lived after losing his turret to the 3-0 Jinx.
We're in the context of a difficult game, so small wins feel like big wins right now.
And we could come back to this 30 minutes from now and be like, you know, if Shogun wouldn't have sidestepped that chopper, this game would be completely different.
Yeah,
but as of now,
4 Grub buff to the Jinx would feel pretty terrible. But 3-3, not too big of a threat, just some additional damage on side lane. Shogun now at least getting a bit more wave clear here. Going to be able to match Supa a bit more. Supa there in the bush.
Too confident.
A dead Jinx. Probably had time to push flash. Probably didn't.
it wouldn't have mattered, I think. I think it's actually better that he didn't hit flash there,
Yep.
because how the ability to follow with Jarvan ultimate was
Yes,
there the
yes,
entire
yes.
time. That was really big play for Vikings.
Yeah.
You have to watch it back to see how they were able to actually get vision in that bush without Supa being respectful of it. That's the type of stuff that Vikings had in mind when they picked this team comp, the Jarvan Orianna especially, is how they want to be able to play this fight onto the Jinx Syndra, the two low mobility carries. Because the early game was so disastrous, it looked like this game was going to be a runaway, but the 2 kills they got in the bottom lane about 3 minutes ago, that pick, and, you know, Shogun not dying there when they killed the turret, are the things keeping them in this game.
Little victories. That's going to be what matters. All they can do to stay in this game as much as possible. You can see 9 turret plates to 2. Further indication of how far ahead MDK have been. Now going to grab the Herald. We'll see if they want to use it once again to break mid lane. Supa with a push set up on the top side if they want to use it very rapidly, but frankly already have control on that top side of the map. Probably do not need to drop it there. Supa and a Demolish proc will at least get most of that health down, and Shogun too far away, so the tower going to fall. See what the setup is for the next big objective, but the map very clearly favoring MDK as well as the gold. Almost 4K in their favor, only 15 minutes in. It's a massive lead.
Yeah, 4K, 2,000 of it is Jinx over Jin.
Yeah.
So that's good, especially when their own Cassante is 700 gold behind their Renekton, and they literally don't care about that. It would be mid-bot that they care about the most. Alvaro, who cares about the 1,000 gold on the support, but he'll take it with how much plating and kills they've gotten early game.
Yeah, and of course the match card lane economy snapshot, highlighting how far ahead, really, MDK are. But need to see what the itemization choice is for Alvaro, how he chose to spend that money. Locket is big, stopping that Orianna burst, and now we've got a bit of creative driving here, the wraparound. Zoom, zoom! Knock into the tower, he's clean with it.
Grab it again.
He's watched enough initial D, he knows what he needs to do. Will they get back into the Herald? I don't think so. Initial knock coming to BN.
I mean, it's 45.
Decent. Now the engage coming in from Alvaro. This is very favorable. Curry now trying to look for an angle, but he just doesn't have anything. Supa immediately hops into the Herald to stop any potential potential follow-up, and the play just fizzles. But they do manage to take down Mirwin. Now it's reset for Supa. PKE needs to get the hell out because Connie's already blinking out bar. Supa wants to step up. He can see 3 kills in his eyes, but he's just out of range.
Oh man, I mean that play started with Frescawi just deleting people on the Syndra, finishes his Ludens, has I think level 11 at the start of that play. So I'll have to check if he was 10 or 11. If he's 11, it's a big power spike for that ultimate. Otherwise, he's just fed out of his mind if he killed him at level 10. But that's huge. They get the 2 mid turrets with the Rift Herald once again. We'll see the very start of this play. Yes, he does at level 11. He camps in the bush. One-shot Shogun. That's exactly what you want to do on Syndra, is look for a play as soon as you hit level 11. And then I was actually really surprised that Vikings even thought about fighting this 4 versus 5, but they do a pretty good job of nearly getting something. But when they don't have even Shockwave, very surprised they go for this fight.
Difficult for Guri. Frescawi left out to die there. Supa's immediately charging the Herald to try to survive any potential follow-up.
I mean, yeah, Supa didn't need to go into that Herald because there was no Orianna ult to follow up at that point. But I understand the sentiment when you're playing Jarvan Orianna. You're always worried in the back of your head about that combo.
I think we have it.
Have to be careful, have to play respectfully. But again, we're in a situation where this man is so rich, he will soon be able to buy such wonderful 80 carry luxury items as Seeker's Arm Guard. Help keep himself alive a little bit longer. But for now, still working towards that Phantom Dancer.
And you know what, Dracos? I want to take something back that I said about 3 minutes ago. When we saw the 1,000 gold lead for Alvaro, and I said, who cares?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it actually does matter. The first support item, 1 locket versus no locket, is actually a really big difference. So if it was late game 1,000, who cares? But on this power spike, it's big.
Yep, and still making plays.
Look at that
Doesn't need
locket.
any money for that. But the locket does mitigate the follow-up. The Orion and the Jarvan malding.
He didn't use it, I'm sorry.
It still
wanted
looks
to
cool.
give it power.
Yeah,
He
you
has
want
the
to
item.
talk about how important it could be. But in this case, it's not, because MDK are just wildly far ahead, I think is the
Yeah,
choice
they're
for
styling
use.
this game.
Like, this is just, and I feel for VKE, it's desperation. Every single play has a price of admittance, and right now their base is the price of admittance. So we'll see if they want to try to go for anything. Nanaway isolated off to the side, a lot of resources burned to try and get this Renekton down, but with Kadi out of the picture, they don't really have good damage to punish the resources MDK are committing onto that tankier target. Nanaway double dash out to safety PA, trying to get a bit more space. Shogun at least getting 1 kill. Curtain call now coming out, has to be careful of El Yo-Yo. The spears are going to need to be body blocked as Supa gets hit by 1. Last bullet does not connect. Kadi finally here as the Banshees as well, but ultimately just kind of delaying what feels like an inevitable push from MDK.
Yeah, good defense to stop that turret from going down. I had to check. Locket reduced 488 damage that fight, which, to be fair, is 488 damage more than the Alistar reduced because he doesn't have one. So, score 1 for the Locket.
Why are you shaming this man for being broke? He's not supposed to have money. He's a support. He
And
can't
again,
afford the nice things.
Frescawi just Syndraing all over Shogun. I think we're going to see a lot more Syndra this tournament. He's having a heck of a game so far. Voidstaff second this game instead of the Storm Surge. A little bit interesting since there's not that much MR, but when you're this far ahead, who really does item police?
Anticipating perhaps future MR purchases, or at the very least the Verdant Barrier or Merc Treads from the side of VKE. VKE, the map getting smaller and smaller for them. Their vision line, very defensive, very much on their own side of the map, not really able to get into that Baron pit. Of course, we're only 19 minutes in. I know it feels like a much longer game, but Baron hasn't even spawned yet. When it does, MDK can delete it pretty quickly, just given how accelerated that Jinx is. See if VKE can put up a fight there, if they're just going to be forced to concede yet another objective. Mirwin off on the side is going to use the ult to kind of taxi himself out to safety, but
Oh man, he
wouldn't be Mirwin if he didn't go for the 1v1 instead. Now flashes down the rocket, now coming in. Nanaway just needs to stun that man. Knocks back.
Wait,
Another
what?
redemption for Guri there as he turns it back. Could have walked away, but instead he chose to fight. Will cost him his life.
I mean, he just wanted to be part of the club.
Yeah, he's 0-4-1. He's just like, guys, I just want to participate in the game of League of Legends.
He's looking at everybody else. He's got a 5-1 Jinx, 3-0 Syndra, 2-1. He's like, guys. But he ends up making it worse. He forced it.
He's there for the entertainment. You know, he's getting into the...
It's going to be fine.
Pulls him into the arena, gets the 1v1.
I will say, for the negative Nancys out there, they're going to definitely use this as ammo the next time Mirwin plays Cassante.
Yep.
Because they're most likely going to 2-0 this series with 2 Cassante games, so he's going to be undefeated on it. But he was 4,000 gold.
It's all about how you contextualize the stats, though.
It's true.
This is Mirwin's Worlds 2024, or could be undefeated Cassante.
Yeah. 2 picks, 2 wins.
2 picks, 2
What
wins.
do you want?
You don't need to look at the replay. That's all you need. Mirwan,
Teleport flanks.
That's how a lot of coaches be
uses tactics.
viewing players.
But getting closer, Q3 ready to go. Supa spots Nanoe crucially. Guri off to the side. Bit of a split use of resources here. Nanoe just slowly getting chipped. The Jinx is too strong. Supa on a killing spree. Gets a reset. Has to be careful about not walking into the choke. The ball will reset back to Kadi, trying to find
Oh, he can't even flash.
Not even going to come out. The retreat is there. Supa
This game is over.
You can see. Give us life to protect. Jats, the Jats.
Up 12K.
Runaway off to the side. Chompers down. Supa
10K.
ghosting. Staying alive thus far, but has to flash back under the tower. Split from the rest of his team. Surely VKE. This is the time to try and find an angle, but Frescowie, quick scatter. Q3 coming in from Mirwin, hitting onto 2. Rocket goes in. Nanoe still alive. Mirwin taken down. Curtain call there. Alvaro going to be in trouble. Rocket can't save him from this one.
Maybe he can.
Frescowie pulled back.
I think they're just doing a little too
critics
much.
of any MDK mid to late game. About to fall. It's over before it even starts.
Okay.
Excellent game 2. Excuse me, playing stage.
And I'd say Alvaro had a spectacular series. I think there are some nitpicky things you could point to for Mad in here where, oh, they should have won cleaner, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, they are 2.
Is that Kitty?
That much help for them. I think they are actually quite confident coming into the stage.
This nigga almost like the European I Will Dominate. If this nigga dyed his hair black, this nigga and I Will Dominate would be twins. I swear to God.
We have had really good weeks of practice, so yeah, so far I think they were really confident.
That's Ashley. That Ashley Kane.
A bit of help to contextualize the strength here. We're going to take
There's
a
no
look
way
at
they
the
had
power
Kitty up there. What am I
ranking, as
talking
it's going to
about?
help us contextualize strength across region and between teams.
This year we're kicking off Worlds by introducing Global Power Rankings, powered by AWS. This is a ranking of all teams in Tier 1 League of Legends esports. The goal is to highlight team strength across all regions, creating bragging rights for the best of the best and better contextualizing competitive play, now and into future seasons. Global Power Rankings are calculated against 2 main areas of performance, team match results and regional strength. 3 distinct indexes affect the weighting of overall match results: margin of victory, strength of opponent, and the context in which matches take place. In a best-of-5 series, a clean 3-0 victory is more impactful than winning a match 3-2. Taking down a team with a high power score will always be more impactful than beating a team with a lower power score. International play is scored at a premium and weighted heavier than regional split action. So for example, Worlds Knockouts wins would count for more than regional playoff wins. Since most games throughout the year are played within regions, power rankings leverage regional strength scores informed by international results. As a region does well internationally, all teams within that region will see a net rise. The opposite is true if that region struggles on the big stage. Keep an eye out for Global Power Rankings powered by AWS throughout Worlds 2024 and check lolesports.com for an up-to-date rankings list.
And keeping this info in mind, this is where we're going to see that the next series we have on our hands is a bit of a stylistical mismatch, if I may say. Pain Gaming versus PSG. What do we think here?
I mean, I think it's going to be a really tough match, honestly. PSG, to me, I think is the strongest team in play-ins. I think they look better than MDK. I think they look better than 100 Thieves. I think that they've improved even from spring.
Oof.
And they're coming off of a very strong MSI, which is really the largest reason why they are so high in the global power rankings. Because at MSI, they beat FlyQuest. It's the first time NA hasn't made it out of play-in, so that was a big win. And then they actually almost beat BLG in a 5-game series, which is incredible, right? You know, they took them all the way to Game 5.
Yeah, and I mean, from the side of Brazil in general, I think they've only ever taken 1 game off PCS as a region as well. So just not just this matchup right now, but also just historically speaking, they have struggled against them. And it is just one of those regions where the pool of talent that they have is just incredible. And especially for this team as well, if you just look at the entire roster of PSG, it's almost unfair that they're going through play-ins as well as a minor region. And I think you could highlight whatever individual you really wanted here.
I mean, that's the thing. How do you want to tackle this this team? If you're Pain Gaming, what is the biggest strength of PSG? What are the biggest issues that they're going to face?
Well, I mean, it's going to be tough. PSG, you know, has a very unique style where they focus so heavily playing around top lane. Like, even though I don't think their top laner is their best player, it's interesting because they're just non-stop going up to top lane. They're ganking their, 24/7. It is like actually crazy how much they focus on top lane. There was a really interesting stat, and this I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit because I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was basically that their PSG top laner had, I think it was like third highest first blood participation in the league at one point, like way above junglers. And to put that in context, most top laners have like a couple percent first blood like participation. They're just not involved in the game usually.
Yeah, I think actually it was the first across all regions at some point as well. So he's
top
definitely
laners.
up there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But even this was third, like including junglers and all positions and stuff in their league. It was ridiculous. It was one of the weirdest stats I've ever seen. And so I think, as Pain, you have to understand that is the playstyle that they have shown all through the summer split. And you kind of have to go in with the expectation that you are going to get attacked, right? You have to, even if it's like, okay, this should be a winning trade, even this is going to be a good situation, you have to give respect to the fact that Gen.G could be up there and you could just be getting absolutely blasted.
Yeah, but listen, they don't play with a lot of respect, okay? I think when I'm looking at Pain Gaming in general, if they actually are supposed to win today as well, it has to come through their early aggression. I think domestically, this team pretty much has top 2 in every role as well. I really love watching the AD carry Titan. He's been a big step up in terms of having Pain Gaming finally win a title again, because it's been so long, and like historically speaking, they're one of the most popular organizations you have coming out from Brazil. But to go back to Titan, he's incredibly happy to skill check his opponent. He'll take a challenge wherever he sees us. Specifically, I loved watching his Ezreal, because that arcane shift, that's not to disengage, that's an engage tool, okay? And most of the time, their victories will come off the fact that they get an early lead, they skill check their opponents, they try and set up around objectives. It's a very standard way of playing, but it's also very egotistical when they approach their enemies, and they'll have to keep a bit of that ego today. Despite coming in as underdogs, they need to be dogs with bites.
And I love the way you mentioned this, because for Titan, it's actually his mom usually telling him to pick Ezreal, and whenever his mom tells him to pick Ezreal, this is usually when he finds the most success on the pick. But is the mom buff gonna be enough here today?
We're going to see new picks in the mid lane at the very least. The other champions untouched thus far. Kalista limiting some of the more aggressive early AD carry options. Now, first pick for the side of PSG. What is their big priority?
I mean, Skarner's up. Apparently, it's just Jace.
Is it a flex? I mean, the thing about all
it's not locked in yet. It's not locked in. Okay. The Skarner would be my guess,
would make sense. Okay, so something Junja has played domestically. Obviously a champion who still functions incredibly well. Didn't see him as much in the LEC, for example, but is a pick that has looked pretty powerful. And in a world where Maokai is banned or has been knocked down a peg, in this case, there's room for other tank junglers like the Skarner to shine.
Exactly. I think he actually fills the Sejuani slot very well in terms of the type of team comp you'd want to pick for him. He's a strong enough early game champion. He has strong ganks, and he can be a big team fighter. And we get to see our first Yone, who a lot of people put as the most contested champion of the World Championship on their bingo cards, because he was popping off towards the end of the LPL and the LCK playoffs.
Yeah, this is a champion that I think every single co-streamer, every single pundit on social media has talked about as probably the best option, right? In a world where there are very few AD options in mid lane, Yone just does so much for a team, synergizes incredibly well with the Sejuani pick as well. So the mid jungle duo, assuming this is a mid Yone, most likely option I imagine, really set up here for success on the side of Pain Gaming.
It is a pick that can be flexed. You will see the odd top Yone, but you're absolutely right. It is most likely going to be a mid lane pick. Got one game on it for Pain Gaming, but it was a much different meta throughout the regular season, so I would imagine this is likely a practice pick from Scrims.
Rumble now going to get locked in as well. This was a champion that was hit a couple times with the nerf bat, expected to drop in priority, but is still going to be prioritized by PSG here. Some of that passive on-hit damage as well as the early Q damage reduced pretty
heavily.
Yeah, pretty heavily.
Pretty big nerf, and it honestly looks like PSG is just saying, let's keep on cruising, because Tristana was their most played mid laner throughout the regular season, tied with Corki. Rumble was their second most played top laner for Aja. So they are a good pair, even if they've both been nerfed fairly heavily.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the lane setup is going to look like here. Tristana, a champion who's obviously heavily targeted to the point where she even dropped out of mid lane in the middle of the AD carry meta, but perhaps there's a new spin on it. The Jax is locked in, so again, really excellent solo lane synergy for the side of Pain Gaming. So PSG can at least limit the jungle or support, or sorry, excuse me, support or AD pool here a little bit.
Yeah, I'd imagine Maple just really likes the matchup in Ione, so he's willing to play the nerf version of Tristana, and then Rumble is just a strong enough pair, and Aja is just very confident on his ability to play against anything, because the Jax is basically instantly locked in by Pain to match the Rumble, if we do see standard lanes. That's
if we do, yeah, of course. Swap always there. We'll be interested to see, because right now we've seen one team do it, right? Which means there's probably other teams that have been scrimming it. It's usually never happening in complete isolation. We'll see if either of these teams.
Jackson lane. I mean, Weiser's already based and came back, whereas Aja is still sitting on his starter arms. Hasn't even had to use a health potion yet.
Weiser's still with TP though. I would imagine he got the
exposed.
cheater recall off. Hard to say for certain, but definitely needs to respect the potential for Sejuani to get involved here.
Yeah. We also have a delayed swap, so Pain had a good reset timer. They're definitely way up on tempo at the moment.
Moving on.
Good ward though.
Fortification falling
Lucian
off
too.
at 5 minutes. Spotting Lucian is big. Now that the swap has come through, immediately PSG can respond. The wave in a relatively neutral state. Aja's just going to grab one more creep. Might just reset here as the TP already coming bot lane. Pain doing what they can to try to fight for a bit of a tempo advantage, but with both bottom lanes on the top side of the map, I imagine we'll have a bit of a scrap for Grubs. PNG right now ahead on tempo overall.
Yep. Aja, the one nice thing there was the ward spotting Lucian early did allow them to react a bit earlier, but really curious to see now what happens with this Grub spawn in about 30 seconds. If Lucian Nami can hold the prio, it would definitely allow them to think about Grubs, but both junglers are on the bottom side of the map, so we might just be in a bit of a stalemate for a while where no objectives are taken.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maple pushing in this mid wave, likely to give him first move, although with level 6 there, Jinkato certainly has a bit more kill pressure. And kind of when the bot lane swaps come out, I expected the junglers to stick around here to contest Grubs, but it seems instead much more focused on that top lane 1v1, at least briefly, is now 2 seconds before the spawn comes out. Junja is on the way up. They don't really have prio on the bottom side, and they're just now fighting for prio on the top side, so they should be able to start this, but it won't be, you know, free and easy. There is room for Pain Gaming to contest here.
Yeah, there is also a teleport available for Aja. He held it, so this is fairly free, and that's why I think Pain said, we're not messing with that. We're just going to take the Drake and to be completely happy with this trade.
That said, giving, you know, any Grubs to a Tristana, even a nerfed Tristana,
True.
always can be a bit of a difficult prospect as safe champion on side lanes can accrue those gold leads really rapidly, take through or shred through plates if given the chance. MF not the best tower taker. It's not a Jinx, so you're not as worried about the bot laner like our last series. But ward cleared out there, and hey, you're gonna have to be really careful about approaching this tower.
Yeah, so it's likely at least 5 minions that are going to be denied. There's no one on with teleport up that can actually catch this wave. It's going to be a plate for them as well. So just very small, low-risk advantages being accumulated for PSG as of now. This whole draft, early game approach, the way they're playing is very low risk so far, yet still very effective for PSG.
Yeah, but it's crazy that they've... Oh, Junja forced a flash.
It's okay.
Good look from Pain. They don't get much out of it. They get the flash. So if they can follow up in a future play, that's going to feel good. But for now, you know, weren't able to get to the wave soon enough to catch all of those minions, and so not a hugely advantageous play. And else they can also get a follow-up somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't want to set, like, bad expectations, but I have a feeling of how this game is going to go right now.
Is it very slow, and then PSG big gold lead because Tristana on side lane just prints money?
Yeah, well, also just based off of some of the games that I've seen from PSG, because of how good their macro can be, is even if it feels like we're going to be building up to this crescendo in this game, like, oh man, they're stacking Drakes, there are 2 Drakes, soul points coming up soon, and you're waiting for that climactic fight. Like a lot of times, so Maple just pushes the Yone back. A lot of times they'll just like get a pick on the side lane, and then you won't even see the climactic fight. Like that kind of feels like, I know it's really early, but that's the feeling that I have right now.
The Prophet. You've seen ahead.
I want to be wrong. Please be a bad call.
All right, we'll see if we get climactic 5v5 or random pick on side lane. Those are the 2 potential options.
And I'm feeling random pick on side lane.
Yeah, I mean, last game wasn't random pick on side lane, but it was not full 5v5s most of the time. It was single picks to start things off. Ninja trying to stop the wave clear from coming out. I don't really think he has kill pressure here, but
Yeah. Just decide not to, though. They're going to kind of hold here where they're not at the disadvantage.
of slight advantages.
Scrubs.
Jax will likely calling initially to start the 5v5. Woody getting things kicked off. Immediate rumble ulti, but Cheeton uncontested on the side. Good calling initially to start things off, but they're only hitting the tankiest member of the team. Maple already starting to back away. First blood for the CB Law for Pain Gaming. So they're only going to get one grub back, but oh
Yeah.
So the Jax getting
Early from
Okay.
advantage with the happen for these fights to work.
to see him find that gold leech, TP in, get that kill, got some extra CS in the meantime, and Aja ultimately not able to find a super effective rumble ult in the context of that fight. As he gets closer to level 11, that might change as he starts to get closer to finishing that item as well. Leander's, of course, important. PSG, they've already got 5 grubs now, at least showing presence around the Drake, but of course there's no waves here yet. Both waves in a neutral state, mid and bot lane, so PNG with better vision setup, with more members in the area, are free to start the objective.
I think they're just going to get it. Misfortune and Tristana are too far away, so that second Drake already secured for Pain. And in terms of first 13 minutes of the game, they're going to take these when you consider PSG is one of, if not the strongest rated teams heading into the play-in stage. And Pain, if you look at the CB Law's performance lately, I mean, they won 1 game at MSI against a depleted GAM team. They were winless at last year's World Championship, so kind of anything beats the expectations for them, and they're looking like they could win this game if they continue to play well.
I would be really curious to see how the power rankings change if they win this game. 19th versus 52nd on a list, it feels like it's going to have impact. Even, and remember, it's not just for them, they're also playing for the rating of their region, right? How all, and it's not obviously just rating, it's also prestige for the CB Law too. Pain Gaming, first chance in a long time to represent here, and thus far, not too bad. Despite initially looking like a game where PSG was going to be able to bleed them out, they've been able to find a couple angles of attack.
Yeah, we'll see with plates going down now how much the game opens up and whether they're able to actually make the correct roams. Because the trick here now, especially once you start seeing some outer turrets going down, is how well you can make your rotations to pull off plays on side lane. But they could maybe go for a flashless Maple. Just decide not to, though. They're going to kind of hold here where they're not at the disadvantage.
First items coming through for PSG. You know, see if any play is going to break out, but nerf BT. Obviously nerfed Kraken, but Kraken's been nerfed for quite some time. Was even nerfed on the playoffs with champions still building it.
I like the Heartsteel Skarner against the 3 melee champions as well. You can have the kind of more team-focused, not Heartsteel Skarner. Geez, I forget the name of the item. The Sejuani has it.
Instantly going to see that all. It's a quick pick. If you look away for about a moment, Betty's ult not able to do enough work as Cheeton and Curry quick to clean up that kill. These Sejuani ults are really connecting.
Apologies there, looking at item names when there was a fight happening, but that's another
It was a second. It was a second of fight.
Should have seen it coming
came out of
They could be
nowhere.
going for more here.
Jinja. Just trying to walk the wall there, but we'll be all right. And again, these little picks starting to pay off. Still gold leads everywhere but top lane for the side of PSG support. I'm just going to say is not significant. But I think more and more pressure on Weiser to do some work on this Jax. You can see him just going into Aja, has that Trinity Force completed, knows that he's powerful in those short trades.
And as the game progresses, if you're able to keep your CS up on Jax and not be forced to overgroup, you can start beating that Rumble and also the Tristana in side lane. So Weiser can absolutely be a force. It's just really tricky to be able to do that against really competent teams who can have snap engages on the rest of your team or get mid push and then threaten you on side lane. So basically, I think a lot of this game will be decided on the margins, like can Lucian Nami hold mid-wave while the Jax is split pushing, and can Pain make plays after they have mid-push and move?
I also want to see how much they can get out of the Skarner, because one of the things that Sejuani does really well is instantaneous engages. It's always a bit more of a delay for Skarner if he's not going to flash in. Kato nice knock up over the wall, sends the projectile through, but not himself. So
Yo,
really
Pain is looking pretty solid.
Free hitting on mid turret here right now.
They're
so
just
pretty
losing
nice.
gold though.
They're the ones getting free time on turret. Rumble was too afraid to free hit the top lane turret because he was worried about actually coming down for a fight. So little bits of turret damage.
They're TPing top.
Top lane and maybe break that turret as
I was
well.
thinking Jax needs to go to defend.
Though. This is going to be very difficult for Weiser to hold. And the tower down top lane as well. Maple there to pick up that money, and PSG going to grab 2 towers. One will be traded back.
Interesting.
So a bit of an awkward exchange overall. 1.5k gold lead now for the side of PSG. They obviously take towers much faster, and with the Tristana on side lane with 5 grubs,
Yeah.
you can see how quickly that tier 2 is going to fall.
Really nice teleport there by Maple. Even though they weren't the first ones on the turret, they had a bigger wave, and they crashed 1.5 turrets top lane, as well as killing the mid lane turret. I think a small mistake there by Pain, resetting everyone, basically everyone from the bottom lane instead of moving it up towards the mid lane, because that would have likely meant they could defend the mid turret and then probably take the mid turret as well. But let's see if they can get this on the bounce back.
Might end up being about pressure for Drake instead. Betty here to cover. Red buff and the BT shield allows them the safety to just walk up, clear this wave. Pain Gaming hovering to the bottom side. They've already got 2 Drakes. Infernal Soul on the table. Only, of course, would be their 3rd, but ever closer, putting PSG in a position where eventually they probably are going to just have to fight the full 5v5. Pain Gaming not afraid to just use their man advantage, walk in, fight for that vision. They saw Maple bot, they see Aja top, they know they're favored. Betty, though, fearless, just continues to step up here.
Would be a soul point fight, so it's very crucial for the overall outcome of this game how well PSG can clear out this mid wave and approach. Getting that control ward is really crucial. They control this bush and river, because it means Pain doesn't have a great way to flank, especially that control ward up towards the red buff as well. That's where the Yone or the Jax is going to want to approach from.
Jax going around the corner. Have they marked the ward in the brush? Looks like the answer is yes. Hovering off to the side. Rumble now coming in. Objective Jinkato immediately going to try to kick things off. A lot of burst used on the Skarner to little effect thus far. Junja with flash, with smite. Objective in their sights, bursting it down. They get the objective. PSG have a wave to play on, but can only push it out and walk away. Patience, discipline coming in from Pain Gaming, that exchange.
Still deathless, 19 minutes into their first Worlds game against the #1 seed in the PCS. Really love the patience that Pain is playing with. There definitely a few moments where maybe they're giving away a little bit too much Turkle, but getting 3 Drakes only 19 minutes in, and then also getting enough damage down on a Skarner that he's unwilling to actually go in with the rest of the team. They're putting on a pretty great showing for game 1 here at Worlds.
Definitely are. And you talked about, hey, the Heartsteel can feel so good against these 3 melee champions, but Junja's just not getting any stacks. He can't get into a fight. They're not scrapping at all. So an item that he purchased early, he prioritized, while we'll still give that little bit of burst, he's not getting that additional value of the scaling HP. And we'll see if that hurts him in the fights, because Jax just continues to scale up. Cheetan getting stronger, Jinkato with the Blade of the Rune King, which is so good on these melee champions, means a lot of these tankier health bars, Woody and Junja especially, aren't going to be nearly as effective as they might have been against different opposition.
Yeah, and you can see this is Pain Gaming's year-long chart, essentially, improving throughout the year, nearly winning the spring playoffs, getting just over the edge in the summer playoffs, even though they weren't the #1 team in the regular season. And I think once the Stride Breaker gets completed by the Yone as well, like that's when he really turns on, and if he ever gets on to Misfortune or Tristana, can really do a lot of damage. But until then, they just need to keep holding sideways with Jax, not getting picked off in the mid game here, and just waiting this 3.5 minutes until they can potentially get Infernal Soul.
There's no pressure on them to do anything too crazy, right? But I will say, I watched a lot of Pain Gaming. Sometimes they go for the aggressive play. I've watched them 50-50 a Baron when they were already winning somewhere else on the map, and it worked for them. But that didn't make it right, Jet. So I'm a little nervous. It's going to require a level of discipline that they have shown thus far this game, but they have to keep a cool head as we get later and later into this game 1.
Yeah, and as we're at 20 minutes now, 1 pick or 2 picks could mean Baron and a complete swing on this game, so you got to be a little bit extra cautious.
Oh my god, this game is so boring.
Matt, maybe since these second item spikes, they just said he has yet to find that circumstance where they can really leverage their advantage. Initial pick onto Junja. They know that he has no flash. Their Skarner ult is doing, or excuse me, the Rumble are doing a decent amount of work.
Oh my god, Titan!
Trying to follow up, taking the jungle out of the equation. Immediate snap back under for Jinkato. He will not drop. We're in trouble now too. Right through the midst of everybody, but a perfect input buffer from Maple means he will walk away. PNG, what can they get off of that pick?
Pain, 43 seconds on this next Drake. Think about maybe
force this, knowing Jinja does not have the flash.
a little bit crazy when you think about maybe a potential game deciding moment could be over this red buff, yet that's here we are. And it's about the Yone getting the flank over the wall that can finish the execution on the Skarner, but also stop any of the actual damage falling through to the rest of the team.
I love the arms up, just walking slowly to the screen.
following through to the rest of the team that can finish the execution on the Skarner, but also stop any of the actual damage following through to the rest of the team.
I love the arms up, just walking slowly to the screen. That one's my favorite.
That's hard.
And I'll say that one of the picks that feels really good here is Nami, and not in the context of Lucian Nami, but against the MF, because you see the tidal wave thrown out early. That initial overcommit into that choke point could have killed them, but the tidal wave says for the next 3 to 4 seconds, you cannot get all.
Lucian?
And now Chitan doing good damage on Maple. Jinkato trying to follow up, flash over the wall, tidal wave not doing much, but Junja now forced to walk away. Soul. What is important here? PSG, can they get into the pit? Junja has the E. He should be able to get to the wall if he wants to, but PSG trying to play through the bottom.
This is what I was saying, bro. No way. I still think, bro, this Titan guy is fucking nuts.
I mean, this is a pretty big lead now that the Soul has been acquired. The next time they fight, they're going to be that much more powerful. They're just buying a little bit of time to make sure they're healthy. They might fight right here.
Jinkato going for the wall. The knockup not going to hit. Archer taking a decent chunk of damage. Not sure if they get the arm guard or the Zanya's there, but either way, highly impactful in the fights to come. Knowing that Rumble doesn't have ulti either, Jinkato just continues to fish with these knockups. Junja is so squishy against these champions. The tank jungler, not tanky at all. PNG continuing to find picks. 5-0 the kill score in their favor.
They have a lot of gold in inventory, but with the enemy jungler down, they might go straight for Baron. Oh no, he's interrupted!
Woody, pick off to the side, Jinkato. Should just
No, not
here.
like this. I mean, we should be able to win this. Cut them off, Sejuani over the wall. Nice. Push mid. Or yeah, push mid. Thank you, Titan. Titan is actually so good, actually.
Lead only gets bigger. They finally... I mean, surely they have to reset at some point. 1,000 gold on Titan's Lucian. He is looking so good in this game.
Who is this nigga Titan?
All the way back to the very start of that Infernal
I thought they had BRTT or something.
Side, which takes Maple to about 5% health, potentially a game-winning, confident move. Finally able to get back to base. A little desynced on the recalls is going to delay their redeploy to maybe go for this Baron, but they are so strong at this point that they are in control of this game.
I mean, Jax having second item right now is so impactful for the fight. He's not going to go down quickly. He's going to force an ult out of Maple to keep the backline safe. It's really for the side of PSG. We talked about it was going to be teamfight, a random pick in the side lane. The answer is neither. It's going to be PNG in total control, Jat. And right now, Betty's ult, the potential for a combo here feels like PSG's angle out, but it's so difficult to set up when they're so far behind. And when Pain Gaming are playing with such confidence, instantly punishing Junja. Over the wall. Wiser now coming in. Quick stun. Ulti not even going to come through. Pain Gaming. They got the pick they wanted. Jungler out of the equation. Not a 50-50 anymore. Baron belongs to them.
Holy.
PSG just can't fight back. Pain's been completely relentless. Tristana was pushing mid. There's no one that's able to re-engage to help the Skarner. And now they're on Baron with no smite. They could finish or they could peel early.
Betty's ult is going to be big here, but Curry has ult as well. Can just throw it in. Jinkato poking.
Finish Baron.
Kirk doesn't have smite.
Oh, jeez.
This is... Oh, no. Not like this. Not like this, Pain Gaming.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't do your namesake justice. Brazil does better than you get. Now coming in. Jinkato going to get over the wall. Keep the Baron back. And Lord doesn't matter. Betty, take it out. PNG.
Take the Baron. Oh, my God. Ah, Titan is actually so good. Bro, why wasn't Sejuani just taking the Baron?
Lose one, and they secure the Baron.
This shit was so crazy.
15-second staring match with Baron at 1600 and no smite was crazy. Yone can't even get out the back of the pit. Sejuani seems like he's gonna die. Yone sacrifices his life.
He doesn't have smite, bro. Look at Titan though. How does he turn this 3v1? Oh my, they're just walking into he's just tapping everybody. He cleansed for no reason. Titan. It's not Titan. Titan. My bad, bro.
I thought we'd ease into it, but we're starting strong here.
Yo, he's standing up.
That pop off, you can see his arms shaking. That's adrenaline. That man hyped. Beat them. Feed him. Turn this around. done, but Junja, this is where it's really hard to be the Skarner. You don't have that dash in, dash out
Oh,
luxury that
Titan.
Sejuani does. The ulti not as reliable.
What the
the
fuck?
CC not as reliable. Feels so bad to fall behind as his champion, and now he's just sitting there getting poked. He can't do anything about Cheeton just walking up and hitting him. Now,
Titan, it is Titan. What the fuck?
Jinkato just goes in, disrupts the play.
Why not just be Titan?
Okay,
Titan's tough.
turret as well, but it's fine. The
Titan.
cannon minion is still just slowly chipping away on that tier 2 turret. Gold lead is extending. I mean, at this point,
He doesn't even have
just
IE.
need to be patient as they have been throughout this entire game. The Lucian has enough range that he can kill these turrets. The Baron is going to help them extend their gold lead. It's probably going to end up going to Elder just because they are generally a short-range team that needs the other team to walk out so they can engage.
PSG are a 6K Baron power play, but there's a part in my brain right now that's always just anxious and scared, right? And that anxious, scared part looks at that Elder Drake and says,
Is it because the Baron almost killed Sejuani? Is that why?
that off here, golden, but okay, gold lead. If someone steals an Elder with 4 members on their team still alive, that team fight gets a lot more even.
And here we go. I think they're going to fight before Elder.
Junja, again, just going to get picked off here. Pain Gaming,
Oh my
eyes on
God.
the perfect target now. Ryzer stepping in, quick pick on Aja as well. He goes golden, but for what? He's just delaying the inevitable. Pain Gaming, they don't even need the Elder.
What the
just
fuck?
Stepping near it is enough to bait in PSG. The TP's now coming through as well. The Jax is damn powerful, but this is a confident move. Cheeton goes in. 1-2 punch there. 80 carry and top lane together. Betty, there's just nothing they can do. Maple down for the count. Pain Gaming in game 1 for a few minutes looked like PSG had it figured out. Like it might hasn't played. Hear this message. So just get free stuff while you do it. Nice and easy. Simple. You have a second because no one's killing each other yet.
And they might not for a while, Dracos.
Okay, last game we were very comfortable in this position of no one's ever going to fight ever, and then instant Sejuani ult, someone died, Pain Gaming won. That's how I remember it.
That's the craziest thing about game 1 is I was thinking that no one is going to die and then PSG will win. But it ended up being no one will die except for PSG, and Pain will win easily in a landslide.
Yeah, and you can see Pain taking control of that early lane.
Consistently got pushed in mid lane, so it's 2.5
Maybe can offer him a way to get out. Immediate ulti coming through, sidestep by all 3 members of PSG. Cheeton in the midst of the enemy team. Jinkato, Q3 ready to go. But Maple behind him, he's going to snap back. Maple's immediately going to be on top of him. The short flip misses, however. A little bit tragic as Aja TP's in. Not to a lot of effect here, but was ready just in case the fight did break out.
Looking like a bounce-back game for Pain, though. Not only do they win that small skirmish with the Braum kill, all pressure that Pain may have been able to develop evaporated as they all kind of collapsed mid lane anyway and still didn't win the fight. So you can see the side lanes there. Rumble completely pushed in. Maple's Akali up top lane, catching a wave, uncontested. This gold lead is only moving in one direction, and it's more in the favor of PSG.
Yeah, and if that is a Shadow Flame second, like we're looking at double buffed items for Maple, that threshold being a little bit higher means those magic damage crits coming a little.
Willing to dive these side lanes. I think on the side of Pain, you got to be thinking about draft at this point for game 3 as well.
Maple waiting in the darkness.
I'm trying to see how this ends, bro, because I got PSG on my fucking... They're supposed to make it out. So if they don't make it out...
For the team.
To say, well, PSG just drafted wrong, right? You know, they just had the wrong read on the meta. Game 2, they changed.
Been a very heavily blinded pick in Champions Queue so far. Historically, Cinder has been fairly blindable as long as you can build the right,
To give
factor lead.
What the
see what
fuck
happens
is
early
this?
on. The double wards in the brush means that Vayne cannot just abuse being able to walk in, tumble back, or tumble out, walk back in. And so will eat a bit more minion damage than you normally would if that ward was not present.
Interesting, yeah, that was the ward left by the early level 1. I believe it was Alistair that went up there, then came back to base, bought a sweeper. Not helping that much.
Nah, this is pretty unplayable.
Yeah, grasp Vayne, oof.
It's rare you're in a situation where They're not going to connect, but it's rare you're in a matchup where both sides of Gnar feel bad. But both sides of Gnar feel pretty bad here. You're either melee range with like desperate hope that Vayne forgets to put a point in condemn, or you're less range where you are just getting smacked around.
Yeah, just that grasp sound hurts. Okay, here we go.
Set up on the bot side. Level 3 there. Nice knock up. The cleanse isn't going to help there. Lockup now coming in. The root not going to do much of anything. Betty now in trouble. Minion wave doing a decent amount of damage, but Cheeton should just be able to grab that first kill. Nice use of the hawk shot to keep him standing. Carriel now going to follow up onto Woody. Junja is here. Lisa needs to be careful. Junja early burst isn't going to be that crazy. Alistair already up. Curry hoping to mitigate this a little bit. Q in to try to follow. Clone now coming out with the lockup is there.
No
Leona
way.
offering that bit of extra damage to make sure Junja can secure. And now it's Curry who's on the side of Pain Gaming, circumstantially.
It is enough to shut down Wukong and be the first ones to engage.
Initial lockup decent, but level 6 is there, trying to find the kickback. Karyoka just going to walk away. Second use of the ulti there.
Pretty good.
From Junja. Decent control, but a lot of their pick tools used in that exchange. Leona ult is still there. PNG don't really trade much. Alistair ult is the big cooldown, really, in that context.
If you're Pain, you're absolutely taking that. Wukong is the biggest thing that you're afraid of.
Betty,
Go for Betty.
Force shot, now trying to follow up. Leona doing what she can. Woody trying to disengage. Jinkato.
They're just pressing shit.
Body blocks are there. Level 10.
Why are we doing this?
Now a TP down to the bottom lane. Look at the Mastercard lane economy snapshot, or we won't. Because it's very close, is what it's going to tell us. It's going to tell us that, except for top, where Gnar is 1,000 gold ahead.
Yes, sir. As you expect.
In the Gnar versus Vayne. Actually, it's a winning matchup. We were
Vayne
wrong.
has to scale, apparently.
Needs a bit more time as PSG have decent vision control, but with Gnar able to get first move and having Mega, this is a really tough fight to navigate. Just here, Betty and Woody are so low, and Betty doesn't have ulti. So a bit of a spectator objective there. Window shopping for that particular Drake, but Pain Gaming had more money, had more resources, so they're actually going to be the ones to walk into the store and buy it.
Well played, and they also have tempo on the map currently with the ability to get first on mid wave, first on bot wave. PSG running out at the moment. On the next reset, PSG is going to be able to get some tempo of their own, but just you're going to trade that every time for the second Drake, and still a slight goal lead.
Yeah. Maple, I think, TPing top to try to get this wave in to make sure that they do have a pressure point where they can get a bit of vision control around this objective. Herald, of course, important for both of these lineups to maybe break us out of this laning cycle. But short-lived. Does let his team get in a little bit, but no one is there with wards to lay down the vision. Woody has to go mid to make sure that Betty is safe. So they'll get first initial setup, but PNG likely to just take it back. Wiser's rage management perfectly.
Still clean up, they still get the Baron. If they can make something happen with this Baron, they can make it almost impossible for Pain to get that soul. But being on soul point is probably something that Pain is pretty happy about.
Especially Hextech, right?
Yeah.
Arguably the strongest soul in the game in terms of efficient combat output. But PSG...
Ash out.
Not gonna hit.
I mean, that's still just a Vayne.
That's just invisible. Lisa can see her. But now, the rest of PSG is collapsing, and things are looking a little bit difficult. Excellent scatter of the week with Junja ready to go over the wall, and already the Jhin is in range. Nice knockback, stopping the first ulti. Additional headbutt to make sure that they can escape safely, but PSG are hungry for blood. Normally a much more map-focused team saw their angle to try and force the fight and get a bigger advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if they win a big fight here, they can secure the series, because with the Baron buff, nothing's going to stop their push on the side of PSG. So just trying to get as many objectives as possible, because they really, really need to extend their lead to make that soul impossible to complete.
Definitely do. One of the few ways Pain Gaming have left in this. The goal doesn't look massive, but the map position has been so good for PSG.
Yeah.
The itemization, you talked about it before. Finally, we're starting to take over to 2 items on most of the members of Pain Gaming as the fight's now going to start to break out. Junja in trouble. Karyo trying to backstep Jinkato, ready to go.
What the fuck?
Mind's telling him no, but his body also telling him no. Will not go in.
It's a good thing. He would have died.
Yeah.
But would have been hard to not take with how low the Wukong was. And the side lanes are not actually in that bad of a spot. Wiser's Gnar getting decent push. They're still able to secure their own jungle. It's not as dire as it was in some of the previous games. I still think we're headed to a pretty interesting end to this game. I would slightly favor PSG from this point, but it's like they're out of mistakes.
Yeah. Teton. Has to watch that tower get taken down, but luckily has enough movement speed to get away from that Wukong. Betty continues to push in mid lane. Baron buff still there for 20 seconds. This is the last wave the PSG will have to play with this particular buff. But Aja can't really walk up alone, is the difficult portion. Still powerful in the isolated 1v1, but still not the longest range, not the most threat onto a tower.
And Maple having a second straight strong Akali game, hitting level 15 now. 2 completed items and didn't see large wrong. But what I mean by them just being out of mistakes is they're clearly the stronger team right now.
Sure.
And if they execute, you know, exactly right, then Pain won't win another fight, Pain won't get another objective. But one mistake in this next minute, let's say Maple gets picked, misses ultimate, or maybe Wukong dies before a fight. That could be Soul, and then I'd immediately favor Pain in the game. So while PSG is favored, is ahead, they're right on the tipping point if they give up this Soul accidentally.
Very close. Tenuous advantage. They have the tools to deny the Soul from the side of Pain Gaming, but can't afford to get caught out on side lane. You can see Maple immediately backing off, doesn't have the vision to step any further forward, even though he does see a little bit, at least on the other side of the pit. I believe Pain saw that ward get placed. Curry was there, so
this can't be.
About it. Ryoka has to be careful though.
Oh no,
Condemn alone, not too scary, but when you've got 2 other members to back you up, it can be a bit difficult. Ulti immediately to kick things off. Junja getting a lot of cooldowns in exchange for his ultimate. Still feels like a trade that overall favors PSG, given that they already have a dominant position around this objective.
Still engaged with Leona, but they have no deep push here, so Maple doesn't actually have a strong flank that he can go through. And if you're PSG, you do not want this Drake taking damage. The closer it gets to a flip, the closer you get to losing the game.
Aja on the flank. He goes in first, it'll be difficult. Now the ulti getting brought out. Junja getting lower and lower. Aja waiting off to the side. Visor hoping to find that good ulti angle. Curry now taken down. Karyoka going back in. Woody lower and lower. 2K on the objective. Can they find a way to finish this one off? Karyoka knocked out of the fight. Betty stepping up. 1-2 shots trying to find the job. The Hextech Drake taken out and taken down.
What the hell is going on?
Trying to make it happen with Maple in the clutch. 1 kill, 2 makes it look easy. 3 overall. The triple for that man in the mid lane.
Oh, it's a banger, Dracos. 9 champions die in that fight, and Maple's the one who walks away. But this is extremely close as that Drake gets lower and lower. Woody flies in. The focus to me is all on the Drake, and that's what PSG takes advantage of, because Pain really want to steal this Drake. Wukong is able to secure it, and then the end of this fight is just pure chaos. Maple jukes around the outside. Once he lands that E, it's over.
And again, we talk about Maple so much when we talk about this team because he's that historic figure, right? He's the guy with the pedigree, but when he's the guy with the hands and the mechanics and the massive 7-0-1 scoreline too, you know PSG are set up for success. Game 1 was rough. Game 2, incredibly dominant. Game 3's been a bit more tenuous for them, certainly, but Maple is in such a strong position to bring this one home.
Yeah, I think that was a shot we had of Jin Kato just kind of scratching his head after that one. Wasn't able to have a good position on Cinder. Just once they move into the pit, their backside gets so exposed for the flank of the Akali or even the Wukong that it gets really dangerous. And that was a fight where Wukong didn't even get the flank off. Yeah. I think that's one of the important things that Pain's been able to do is they've been able to get that Wukong out early. Because if there's a fight where Wukong is able to actually truly engage on a squishy, I think the series would be over.
We find the angle, a lot of damage on the clone there, but it costs them getting in position for the solar flare. They try to force the play on the side of Pain Gaming, but PSG punished that single moment, that little bit of inaccuracy. Quick reaction comes in from Junja, stops any of that initial poke, any of that initial CC from landing on him.
Yeah, flashless Syndrome.
A lot of people will see the loss and not.
Vision on the Drake allows Aja's Vayne to just free him.
That's that, bro. Those games were pretty boring. I don't really have connections to those teams, so. Thanks for watching.